Flight time between India and Tashkent is approximately 3 to 4 hours. The trip to Uzbekistan was like going through a history book, pleasant and not so pleasant pages. Highlights being Amir Taimur, Genghis Khan, Babur, and lastly, Lal Bahadur Shastri's peace treaty with Pakistan and his end in Tashkent. Uzbekistan, as we saw, appeared to be quite rich in history and unique culture. Incredible architecture, reedy music made by interesting instruments, and the attribute that impressed all of us was the amazing hospitality by the people of this country. Tourists, travelers from outside are greeted warmly as their own guests. We were offered seats at airports and other public places by the citizens of the country. Locals from Tashkent, Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva had a special regard for the people from India. We were greeted with a handful Namaste.
Namaste.
Pictures were clicked with us and the demeanor was quite friendly. We arrived at Tashkent airport and were received by the travel partner in Tashkent. We were greeted with roses and started straight away to our hotel. We started our tour of the country with Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is bordered by Kazakhstan to the west and north, the Aral Sea to the north, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan and Turkmenistan and Afghanistan to the south. Capital of Uzbekistan is Tashkent. Uzbekistan has a population of around 32 million with an area spanning 448,000 square kilometers. We started day one with a visit to Hast Imam complex, which is the religious center of Tashkent. The complex is near the tomb of one of the first Imam of Tashkent city, the famous scientist, scholar of Quran, poet Abu Bakr Muhammad Kafal Shashi. It contains the Uthman Quran, which is written on deer skin and is considered to be the oldest Quran of the world. The other monuments included the Madrasa of Barak Khan, Tilla Sheikh Mosque, Mausoleum of Saint Abu Bakr Kafal Shashi, and the Islamic Institute of Imam al-Bukhari, where future preachers are taught. Barak Khan Madrasa was the location for the spiritual administration of Muslims of Central Asia and housed the rich library of manuscripts, including the Holy Islam book Quran. Tilla Sheikh Mosque is a still functioning mosque, Namazgah, whose name translates as Golden Sheikh, owes its appearance to the Kokand Khan Mirza Ahmad Khushbegi. Chorsu Bazaar is the oldest central market in Tashkent. You get almost everything here, starting from daily necessities to exquisite stuff. Though very crowded, it is still organized in some way. We saw the farmers' market, flowers, muskmelons, pumpkins, tomatoes, cucumbers in plenty. We had an on-the-spur muskmelon party while in the market. Tashkent has a street named after Indian Prime Minister named as Shastri Street, where the statue of Lal Bahadur Shastri is erected. On January 10, 1966, Lal Bahadur Shastri was in Tashkent to sign the Tashkent Peace Treaty with Pakistan. The agreement was mediated by the Soviet Premier Alexei Kosygin, who had invited the parties to Tashkent. The war was formally ended with the Tashkent Agreement on 10th January 1966. Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri died the following day in Tashkent, with the actual cause of his death still not known. Amir Taimur Square. It was named as Amir Taimur Square post-independence from Russian regime, and a statue of Amir Taimur on a horse is seen in the middle of the square. Khiva. We transferred to domestic airport at 4 p.m. for a flight to Argunch Airport. It is about 30 kilometers from Khiva. Khiva's Ichan Kala Fortress was a total surprise, quite a unique sight.
Namaste.
A UNESCO World Heritage Site, Ichan Kala is the walled inner town of the city of Khiva. Uzbekistan, with a collection and concentration of mausoleums, madarsas, mosques, minarets and palaces. Muhammad Rahim Khan Madarsa, Kalta Minar, Kunya Ark, Tash Kauli Palace, Muhammad Amin Khan Madarsa, Jumma Mosque, Sheikh Sayyid Alauddin's Mausoleum, Paklawan Muhammad's Mausoleum, and Minaret of Islam Khwaja. Most of these structures were built in 18th and 19th centuries, are restored and renovated by the Russians. All these structures, close to each other, looked similar initially, but every structure had a different style. Especially the Jumma Mosque, which has four impressive old wooden columns, among many others in the main hall. It is amazing that 5,000 people fit in the building. The minaret of Kalta Minar is the real symbol of the city. Quite a unique design with huge size. Foundation of minaret is 15 meters. Diameter at foundation is 14.5 meters. And the height is 29 meters. Khiva to Bukhara. Distance from Khiva to Bukhara is 480 kilometers, and it takes around 7 to 8 hours to reach there by road. The route was through Kizilkum Desert. Caravans on the Great Silk Route carrying porcelain and spices used the same route for hundreds of years.
خوش گویم بر من
We reached Bukhara by the day end and checked into the hotel. Bukhara lies west of Samarkand and was previously an eminent focal point of learning all through Islamic world. It is the old neighborhood of the incomparable Sheikh Naqshbandi. The historic center of Bukhara, which contains numerous mosques and madrasas, has been listed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Highlights in Bukhara were Liabe Horse Complex, statue of Mullah Nasiruddin Khoja, Chor Minar Madarsa, Kalyan Mosque, Kalyan Minarat, Bolok Horse Mosque, Abdul Aziz Khan Madarsa.
Malina Ompuri, Amitabh Bachchan, Dikhamendra. Yes, good.
The Liabe Horse Complex is one of the most sought-out tourist place in Bukhara. Literally, Liabe Horse is translated as edge of pond, which is an artificial water reservoir, which afterwards become a national heritage site. In the very center, there is an exquisite pond surrounded by a pound of monumental statues. The Mosque Kalayan is the oldest in Central Asia and the largest after Samarkand Bibi Khanum Mosque. Is the main cathedral mosque of Bukhara. Design features say about the close connection of Ulugh Beg era. According to an inscription, the mosque was built at the beginning of 15th century. The building is a vast courtyard surrounded by galleries, square columns covered with domes. The building accommodated up to 10,000 people. It is the first works of architecture of the Uzbek state. Bukhara to Utah. Drive to Camp in Youths in Nurota took around 2 hours by road. This was a break from the conventional historic sites with monuments, minarets and mosques. Camping was a different experience altogether. However, the lake was not close by. We drove there next day on the way to Samarkand. The camps took us to the nomadic lifestyle. Utah, the camping area and Aidakul Lake is secluded from the civilization. Original, untouched by the world, which surfaced as a great soulful experience far from the crowds. Aidakul is situated in northeastern Uzbekistan, about 50 kilometers from the city of Nurata. The lake is located in an almost uninhabited area. Its neighborhoods inhabited only by 345 families. However, it provides a wonderful bioorganic habitat for flora and fauna environment. On the shores of this man-made wonder, many species of birds in the Red Book found the shelter. Samarkand.
Welcome to Samarkand. Hi.
Is a city in southeastern Uzbekistan and among the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Central Asia. There is evidence of human activity in the area of the city from the late Paleolithic era, though there is no direct evidence of when Samarkand was founded. The city is noted as the center of Islamic scholarly study and the birthplace of the Timurid Renaissance. In the 14th century, Taimur made it the capital of his empire and the site of his mausoleum, the Gur-e Amir.
And also one of the shrines was a special mosque.
The Registan Square is located in the very heart of the ancient city of Samarkand. It has gained its worldwide fame because of its great architecture ensemble and has become a monument of the Oriental architecture. From three sides, the square is surrounded with grand madrasas, portals of which are facing the center of the space.
Samarkand, yes, of course.
The Bibi Khainam Mosque, built during the Soviet era, remains one of the city's most notable landmarks. Once one of the Islamic world's biggest mosques. Siab Bazaar is the largest bazaar in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. All daily necessities such as Samarkand naan are sold here. Siab Bazaar is located adjacent to Bibi Khainam Mosque and is visited not only by the local people but also by the domestic and foreign tourists. Samarkand to Tashkent by train. We started very early in the morning from our hotel and caught the train to Andijan. We arrived around 2:30 p.m. The train came through areas which had coal mines, a 20-kilometer tunnel built by Chinese contractors, hills and valleys. Near Andijan station, we saw the Babar Square with the statue of Babar. We came to Hotel Villa Elegant. After the lunch, we went in the evening to the monument of Babar. There is a beautiful garden. A statue of Babar is installed. Up the hill, got an excellent view of the town and saw the beautiful sunset. Later, we went to see Registan of Andijan. It had a very beautiful lighting on an old monument. We walked to big mosques next to Registan. Ended the way with a drive through the city. Saw colorful lights on the roads. This illumination is there throughout the year. Baba started the day with photography near the hotel. As he was returning, he was invited to a local wedding. Later, around 9 a.m., we all went to the ceremony. It was a day of meeting first of men and then of women from both sides.
But burn in Russia. No, it's not it.
We left Andijan. On the way, stopped at Kuwa. Where we stopped for a while at the monument of Ahmad al-Farghani, a famous astrologer from the city who was known in the Middle East and Central Asia as far as Iraq and Egypt for his work on stars and celestial bodies. Farghana is a plateau area covering 3 provinces of the country. Most population, mentioned to be 50% of the country, lives in this area, mostly engaged in agriculture. Cotton, corn, wheat, vegetables, fruits, especially grapes of 3 varieties are grown here. We stopped for lunch at Margilian city. After lunch, we visited a silk factory and saw the whole process of silk making, from cocoon stage to cloth. In silk factory, there were handlooms and power looms. They also contain mix. They are working on preserving ikat, a traditional way of weaving silk, with tie and dye methods, generally using colors, minimum 2 and maximum 8. Most people bought silk scarves for gifts inside and outside the factory. We left the city and drove to Rishtan, a pottery making area. visited a master craftsman and saw him make pottery. Beautiful blue pottery pieces were available for the sale. Late in the evening, we arrived at Kokand. We stayed at Asmat Palace Hotel. The entire staff of the hotel was there to cheer us into the hotel.
Welcome to Kokand.
We left early in the morning, 6:45 a.m. for the railway station at Kokand to catch the train for Tashkent. We reached Tashkent, checked into Ramada Hotel, had lunch and left for a drive to the mountains at 3:15 p.m. We visited Chingam, a small mountain settlement, and saw a beautiful man-made lake and sunset. On return, drove through Tashkent city and stopped at illuminated TV tower. The next day, we started a day in a relaxed manner. We drove back to the airport. It was a journey that touched our souls and promised to come back soon, but for now, we said our goodbyes to the Uzbekistan and our guide.